We have a portfolio that first has an organizational division to it. So you've got divisions. Within those divisions, you have different programs that are being executed. Programs have projects. You also have the idea of concepts. These might be things that are in the initiation phase that have not formally been approved, but people have business cases for them or justifications or requests for them. You also have applications, systems, assets that you're tracking. So the idea here is that you want to be able to classify these things so that you're comparing like items, like projects to one another. But you can't stop here because you also have to be able to classify within each of these different components. So we all know that projects take a lot of different forms. An IT project, very different than a construction project. You're going to have different metrics that you want to analyze. So again, within each one, you have to be able to apply different attributes and meta tags to be able to further classify each of the data components within the system. So this idea of the taxonomy is like building out this framework of meta tags, attributes, and systems and classes for how you want to slice and dice all of the different data within the system.
Would concept be equivalent to change order?
To
change order?
Change order? How so?
Well, that's what I'm trying to figure out.
Okay.
Or would it be more aligned with requirements? I'm trying to figure out a common word that I already know within PMI. The other ones I know, but that particular one I don't fully understand the nomenclature, that word choice.
I think that when you're thinking about taxonomy, think about it more from, instead of a project management perspective and thinking about requirements or something at a project level, think about it more from a portfolio level. Because if you're a portfolio manager, one of the main things that you're going to be concerned about with, am I selecting the right projects? Do I have the right balance of different types of projects? And so what this helps you to do is to classify the portfolio, not just with looking at a single project. And so it helps you to identify the different types of projects. What are common elements across projects? Are they occurring in the same geographic location? Are they being executed by the same project teams? Do they have the same line of business? So you're looking at commonalities.
So are you suggesting that this software will pick out that 60% of the good projects so I don't have to worry about the other 84?
That's the goal.
Okay.
That's the goal. And there's a lot of different complexities to how you do that, but that's the absolute goal of portfolio management in general. If that actually has nothing to do with the software can help you do that, but the real value of portfolio management is that you're selecting the right projects, the projects that are more likely to be successful.
And like any other system that's trying to do this sort of thing, it's a quality of data issue.
Right.
More than anything else.
Exactly. It's data quality. And again, you want to make sure that if you're making decisions off of this data, that there's a certain amount of conditioning that's going on before you're just running a report and saying, oh, I need to cut these 10 projects because they're not performing. You really want to make sure that you're making that decision based on data that's of good quality and that you've got some comparability, some statistical comparability before you're making those decisions. Okay, number 6 up here. Flexible software. People want software that can make them coffee in the morning. They want software that can do anything, solve problems, solve, anything going on in the world. So obviously software can't do that, but people want it to be able to do more. They have a higher standard in terms of what they're looking for when they're selecting software. So one of the things that I said we were going to talk a little bit about is some different SDLC methodologies. So for example, traditionally, a lot of organizations, when they're doing development projects, used the waterfall methodology. This is where you've got requirements, design, development, test, and this is a very much in line with traditional project management. Setting up a plan, baselining that plan, following it through project execution. Today, we see a lot of focus on agile development methodologies. Everybody familiar with agile? I see some people nodding, some people not. It's basically an approach to an SDLC process. It's an approach that follows a more iterative life cycle. So the idea behind Agile is we design a little bit of requirements. As a team, developers go and develop them. We look at them. We decide if we like what we have, and then we develop a little bit more. So as opposed to having a plan up front, you really work collaboratively as a team in small chunks to get to the end product. At first glance, it may seem like Agile is a little bit incompatible with traditional project management. And that's because you don't necessarily have a full picture of the project at the beginning. It's hard to have a project baseline when you're not quite sure how long the project's going to go. So you have to have some new innovative ways to handle this type of project methodology and still put it into the framework of a project management methodology. Here's some examples of ways that organizations are starting to implement Agile in addition to other organizations that are still using waterfall or more traditional phase gate approaches. So in the top here you have a summary section that has tasks that someone's working on. And one of the big ideas with Agile is that team members status their own ETCs. So as opposed to building a basis of estimates up front, you, as you go, status your estimates to complete, and then you look at your burn down chart, which tells you based on what the actual team members are saying they have left, you look at when your projected completion dates are. So it's a slightly different approach to the full planning up front and then the execution. And so what we're seeing as a trend in project management is the need for tools to be able to support all of these different types of methodologies. And there's a need for both the traditional reporting on top of these methodologies and also some of the new reporting that's coming out based on some of these ideas. Any questions on that? Anybody use Agile methodology in their projects? Some people, yeah. We get a lot of requests about Agile right now. It seems to be a very hot topic.
How many people are actually following through on those requests?
That's a really good question. I think what we see more often is organizations that are using kind of a little bit of Agile, a little bit of waterfall. I just finished an implementation with CACI, and they had a couple projects that did do true Agile, and they seemed to be very successful. Other than that, I think most people are interested in it, but don't know how to apply it. Okay. On to number 7. Web services. So this is the idea to the question earlier about once you have all of this information in an on-demand software, how do you actually get the data out of it? How do you integrate it with other data systems and data repositories that you have in your organization? So this is the definition of a web service, a software system designed to support interoperable machine-to-machine interaction over a network. I don't really know what that means, but this is what it means to me. It means I've got 10 different systems in my organization, and I want to be able to connect all of them. I want to be able to go to one place and get reporting and data that uses information from across all of the different systems. So I've got my CRM system. If I'm in a services-based organization, the very first place that everything starts is with my business development team, with my sales team who is using the CRM system to build a pipeline of new projects, services, clients, whatever. So I want to be able to integrate that with my project management system so that I know as a portfolio manager what the demand on me is going to be coming from this pipeline, from the CRM system. If I am in application development, I want to know as a project manager what my bug tracking tool is telling me. If I'm 95% complete done with my projects, but I've still got 2,000 bugs sitting in my bug tracker, I'm going to be a little bit worried. So I want to be able to integrate information from these different systems into my project management system so that as a project manager, I have a dashboard of all of the different metrics that are appropriate to me. So there's a ton of different systems in an organization.